And we're hopefully live, so welcome to another Stitch and Bitch, the July edition. And we are here, us three, possibly maybe Brie, maybe not. I suspect that she has some family shenanigans that are keeping her busy and entertained. So we're just be gonna do the live with the three of us and probably go for around 1.5 hours. So let's just go around and introduce ourselves. I mean, you probably already know me if you have already stumbled upon this channel. And let's start with Di.
Sure. My name's Diana. My channel is Bookish Die. I normally talk about science fiction, fantasy, some romance and nonfiction, and I guess I'm currently working on The Cow still, but I'm almost done. I'm on my last repeat of the pattern.
Cool.
Rachel.
My name is Rachel. My channel is Kalanati, where I mostly talk about science fiction, fantasy, a lot of manga recently, and nonfiction. And usually I knit during these live shows, but today I'm crocheting. I'm getting like wild and crazy.
Well, if we're like, let's just. I do know how to speak English, I swear. Let's just get on with like showing what we're doing. So Rachel, want to start? Show us what you got.
I am doing the finishing touches on the neck frill of what is going to be a triceratops.
I love it!
Eventually it's going to be like this.
Is it gonna have like horns as well?
It's gonna have 3 horns on the face, and I need to do the eyes. So I might get it done today, but yes.
Is that Ava I see in the background? I thought I saw.
She's sitting underneath the desk now. So yeah,
that's adorable.
That is adorable.
I am rather pleased with the way that it's turning out. I saw somebody else's version of this on Instagram, and I was just like obsessed. And then I started making it, and it's huge. It's like 3 times bigger than I thought it was.
I mean, why not? Why not?
So I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I really felt like doing a shorter project that wasn't a sweater. So yeah, a triceratops.
Apologies if you can hear piano on my end. My upstairs neighbor is practicing.
I mean,
ambiance.
I'm not gonna fault your upstairs neighbor for their creative endeavors. Unless you are.
I mean, I'm fine. I don't mind them practicing piano because they're actually quite good. The one thing I do mind is towards the end of the school year, they were practicing before 7 a.m. and I'm not a morning person, and it was brutal.
Oh,
that's a bit early.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
But yeah, for the most part, like, you know, they're pretty good. It's not just like endless renditions of Three Blind Mice or cross depending on what version of the tune that they're going with.
That's good.
Di, do you want to show your...
Oh, I already showed the cow.
Owl.
Yeah,
I already showed it. It's hard to see the pattern because it's a darker yarn, cool. But
yeah.
It's so pretty though.
Yeah. If I do finish this though, it means I need to figure out another project to bring with me to Worldcon to work on during panels.
Oh, I haven't even thought about that far.
You know, I want to take something with me because I know I'll find time to work on it, you know. But I'm starting to stress out again about like taking any of my craft stuff through TSA. I've never taken knitting needles through the airport before, and I'm like, what if they confiscate them? What do I do?
Yes, that is a thing that can happen.
Last time when we went to Dublin, I brought a crochet project and I bought wooden crochet hooks to take with me on the plane, just cheap ones, just in case, you know, because I didn't want my nice metal ones to get confiscated. And nobody said anything, but then I lost the one I was using on the plane on the way back.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, that is something I'm a little worried about, but mine are wooden and they're not sharp.
Yeah.
I think especially if I already have something on the needles, like if I've already started it, they'll probably be a little more lenient. And also, like, we're white. I don't think they'll give a fuck about us.
Yeah, until you get that one cranky person who just, I don't know. It is a good idea to do wooden needles, though. I could probably like have something on my wooden circulars. That's the nice thing about the interchangeable needles too, is if they do confiscate them, you can take the needle tips off and get rid of them, and they'll probably just let you take the cord.
Yeah, and it's not like there aren't yarn stores in Chicago where
I have
go.
I have already looked at a bunch where we could make some stops.
I haven't looked at anything yet, and I should.
So the work thing where I thought I would need to take like work half days on Tuesday and Wednesday ended up being moved to the week before, so I'm probably just going to take Tuesday and Wednesday off as well.
Ooh.
Except I'm taking a red eye, so I'm getting in super early on Tuesday, so I'm probably just going to go to my friend's place and crash for a few hours when I get in.
I mean, I would not blame you. Red eyes are tough.
They are, but it was much cheaper. And it's also both my flights are direct, so I don't have to worry about any layovers screwing me over.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm still terrified that my flight is going to get canceled. I literally had a nightmare the other day that my Worldcon tickets didn't work. My like plane tickets didn't work. I was like, oh,
I normally don't buy flight insurance, but I bought it this time just because I'm like, look, like this was even before the cancellations got to the level where they are now. I was just looking, I'm like, I don't want to risk getting screwed over by United because I didn't do this. So I was willing to pay the little extra money for some peace of mind.
I honestly cannot remember if I bought flight insurance or not. I bought my tickets early enough that the cancellations thing hadn't really happened yet. So I'm thinking that I probably didn't get the flight insurance, and now I'm like stressing out about it.
I mean,
yeah, I started buying flight insurance because when I was doing more traveling in Canada in the winter, I've gotten screwed over at Toronto Pearson so many times, where I'm just like, I don't want to risk it. That airport's cursed.
I mean, I feel like currently the universe is just fucking with me at this point, so I am not taking anything for granted, and I have no trust that anything is gonna go my way. So I'm optimistically hoping that by the time the flights are, it's not like, because currently, like, because it's the holiday season, like everyone's on vacationing and stuff. That is probably why there's so much, like, not to mention the obvious elephant in the room with the breakouts and stuff. But like, I feel like there's probably more people traveling right now.
Oh, for sure.
Than there will be in the fall.
Although the weekend that we come home from Worldcon is Labor Day weekend.
Oh,
yeah.
So it's a 3-day weekend, and I don't think it's like a big travel holiday.
Oh, it is. Labor Day is a big travel holiday.
Oh shoot, is it?
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly part of the reason why I wanted to fly out. I wanted to fly to Chicago earlier in the week, and my flight back is late at night on Monday, so I'm hoping I'm beating the crowds both ways.
I'm so screwed. I'm coming back, I think, in the afternoon on Labor Day. So
yeah, I mean,
is Labor Day the 5th?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
I hope it doesn't affect like transatlantic flights.
So it's mostly going to be a really heavy travel day. So especially if you're flying in and out of O'Hare, like
yeah,
allocate a lot of time for security just because O'Hare is kind of a clusterfuck.
Oh no.
It's
I'm
like
all-
'cause it's a hub. It's a really busy airport in a major city. So like, just I would say for you, Rhea, maybe get there like 3 hours early, and then for you, Rachel, maybe like 2 hours
Okay.
early.
Okay. Well. Luckily, I was planning on that, so.
Mm.
I don't
I'm
know. I don't actually remember at what time. I feel like my flight back home is like scheduled in the afternoon, but
Yeah,
I can't
mean,
remember right now.
I'm looking up mine now because I can't remember.
I'm looking at my tickets. Let's see.
Yeah, mine is at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
also, also going to quickly look.
yeah, I leave around 8 at night, and then I'm getting back to the West Coast.
Oh, mine is like 5:30 or something. So I'm probably gonna head there around like 1 p.m. or so, maybe. Anyway, hi Joe. Hello.
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 Also, in terms of like food planning, we have to go to Nando's. I miss Nando's so much.
Also, I still have not finished with or even started Witness for the Dead, and I was actually shocked that there is gonna be another sequel. I was like,
out. It came out last
I
month.
know it's already out, but
Yeah.
when I heard that it was out, I was like, wait, what? There was nothing
Read
for
them-
years, and now
read
there's
them
two
back to back.
sequels.
Yeah, read them back to back. I actually kind of wonder if the books were written at the same time. They like the Grief of Stones follows on like right on the heels of Witness for the Dead, and I was like, I think this is like a whole story in 2 books. So
Yeah.
I keep
Hello.
thinking I want to get like a new copy of the Goblin Emperor because I want it to match, but also I don't like the new cover.
I don't. I have
Yeah.
that same thought.
I refuse.
love the cover of the original.
I have the original in hardcover, and I
Yes.
will never, ever be.
But they don't match.
They
Yeah,
don't match, but
No,
I
it's
have
generic.
I have the UK, and I'm waiting for the UK paperback for the Grief of Stones as well, because I at least want the sequels to match. And the UK paperbacks, in my opinion, have prettier covers than the US ones.
I'm not sure if I've ever looked at.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed that Tor went the art direction they did with the Witness for the Dead and the Grief of Stones, just because like the original cover for the Goblin Emperor was so distinct.
Oh, it's iconic.
Yeah, and it's not
Oh,
like
it's-
the Balbuso twins are not still working actively in like illustrating and designing SFF covers. I'm saying that they are pretty prolific. So Tor could have, gone the extra mile, but they don't. They chose not to.
Let me see. Oh yeah, the UK cover is really different.
Yep.
It's still a little bit generic.
It is, but it is generic in a less annoying way than the US cover.
So these newer books are the Cemeteries of Amalo series, and they're generic, and is this like a new trend in fantasy covers that it's just like that bold serif font on like a kind of stylized floral background or something?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
I mean, it's from what I understand, from what I have heard, is that currently the trend is to design book covers mostly so that they stand out on e-readers.
Mm-hmm. Big
So
text,
that's why they go for simplicity.
Yeah.
Which is like, if I'm being completely honest, I don't care what the cover is on the e-reader. It just needs to say the title and I'm not reading books on the e-reader for the aesthetic of the book,
Yeah.
So I would much rather have the illustrated covers.
Yeah, and like I definitely know because like N.K. Jemison's covers, for example, for her earlier series, like they reissued the 100,000 Kingdoms trilogy, the Inheritance trilogy, and the Dreamblood duology, and the new covers are so boring. I don't like them.
When did they reissue them?
I feel like they well with N.K. Jemisin, I think they reissued the covers to kind of match with the Broken
but
Earth trilogy.
Mhm.
but
Which is like, I don't understand why that was even necessary, because they are completely separate series and different and don't relate to each other whatsoever.
look who's
So I
here.
don't. Leia, hello.
She's just like, this is undignified.
I
Also,
love-
I forgot to tell you what I'm doing. I'm just bullet journaling basically.
Ooh, pretty.
I'm doing the August spreads because I will most likely be too busy at the beginning of August to do them then. So I'm doing them now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out if I ever purchased trip insurance.
Yeah, I also feel like Helsinki Vantaa is going to be a shit show as well for me when I'm flying out. Heathrow, I have never been, because every single time that I have flown to the UK, I have chosen to use the other airport,
Yeah.
precisely because Heathrow is like a huge mess.
Leia is choosing violence today and trying, because I'm using, because when I started this, I realized I hadn't brought a stitch marker, so I was using a hair tie as my row indicator, and Leia is like, hair tie, must eat. Keeps trying to steal it.
So, what is everyone reading currently, or have been reading recently? Dai, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'm like kind of in the middle of a bunch of different things. I did finish a book yesterday, so I finished How to Survive a Plague by Dave France. It's based off of the documentary that he did. So this book is from 2016, and it's about the early days of the AIDS epidemic through when they discovered one of the main antiretrovirals that they use to treat HIV. So it's like a mix of like history and memoir, because the author was living in New York at the time. Several of his partners and close friends died of AIDS. And so it's like talking about like his experience as someone living in that time period, but also like what was going on. So it's very good. Definitely like very emotional. I would definitely recommend it, especially like in conjunction with The Band Played On by Randy Schultz, because that one.
What was the title again?
How to Survive a Plague.
To Survive a Plague.
Yeah. So because in the Band Played On is more like straight journalism. So it's Randy Schultz, like just very much documenting the early days of the AIDS pandemic. And it was published in 1987, and he died shortly thereafter, or he either died like right before it was published or right after it was published. And so it's very much like a brief snapshot in time. And then How to Survive a Plague like covers some of the same time period, but goes further on. So it ends in the mid-90s. And they also kind of have different focuses, because Randy Schultz was based in San Francisco. So he obviously spends more time like discussing how HIV AIDS first appeared in San Francisco and what was going on in California, whereas France's book is very focused on New York. Mm-hmm. So I think they work very like they're very complementary of each other in terms of like how they cover the same topic. And then in terms of other stuff I've read, I've finished Light from Uncommon Stars, which I really loved. I thought that it was a really lovely book. I really enjoyed the characters and the plot and just like the blend of science fiction and fantasy. And I also started Master of Jin.
This reminds me, actually, I should log in to see if I can get the Hugo voter packet. I was reminded today that I never did that.
I mean, I just did the novellas and novellas and novelettes to my Kobo so that I can start reading them.
Where's the login link?
You have to send, like, if you haven't logged in a while, you most likely have to request for the for the link to the membership page.
They don't have an obvious page to go to.
It's because they reinvent the wheel every time.
I had it bookmarked at one point because it was so hard to find the page. Come on.
Oh. Yeah. I from what I remember, it's from the member.
I had to go into the frequently asked questions thing to find.
Wow.
That was bad.
That's wow.
Oh. Guys, I think they need to redesign their navigation menu because when it says 4 members and there's no login link under 4 members.
I mean.
Oh, Glenn, are you onto the Paladin romances and the White Rat books now? Or which ones? I need some more T. Kingfisher in my life, actually. And I just got What Moves the Dead, which I realize is not the same thing as the White Rat books. It's horror.
Yeah, I think the cover is pretty self-explanatory in terms of what genre it is.
But I'm crossing my fingers that we will get the 4th Paladin romance sometime this year. I don't remember which Paladin it is, but maybe. Or the follow-up to Sword Heart. Though I think the next one is supposed to be, oh my gosh, is it the Dervishes book? I think it might be on hold. Yeah. So instead of getting, very angsty fantasy romance, I'm going to go read a horror novel instead because it's Ursula Vernon. There's a thin line between these things.
I mean, is she writing it under Kingfisher or Vernon?
Kingfisher.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then it's like real horror. I would be surprised if she wrote something like that under the Vernon name.
She hasn't written anything under her real name in quite a while, and I think it's because she's known as a children's author under that, and I think she wrapped up the Hamster Princess series, so yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyway, speaking of romances with violence in them.
Do tell.
So I've recently finished some things, but I finally tried something else in Aliette de Bodard's Dominion of the Fallen universe. If anybody remembers, she did that trilogy that started with the House of Shattered. Which I kind of hated. For some reason, I've never liked or properly finished a novel by de Bodard, which is very strange. So I kind of hated the Dominion of the Fallen series. I thought I would love it, and it wasn't my thing. But she's doing a spin-off series of short novels following one of the couples from that series. And I read the first one.
Was was that the series with the angels?
Yes, the Fallen Angels.
Oh yeah, I DNF'd that first book in like in the first 25%.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't work for me, but
It's on my reader on Haul for this year, so I'm gonna try and get to it in the next few months. Because I literally have a hardcover copy of the first book that I bought when I was living in DC. So I have had it for over 6 years, and I have never read it.
I read it back when
Yeah,
it was
you should
new.
probably
Yeah,
get
not
to
long
it.
ago. Anyway, the spin-off series is called the Dragons and Blades series, and the first one is of Dragons, Feasts, and Murders, and it follows the Dragon Prince, Tuan, and his very stabby husband, who is one of the fallen angels. It's so good.
I'm just wondering how you get to a romance from that, considering
No.
that it's like
Okay,
isn't
it's got like some of the sexy vibes between the husbands, but they're in the Dragon Prince's kingdom, the underwater kingdom, and they're investigating a murder. And the thing is that so Asmodeus is the fallen angel, and he's really bad. I mean, he's kind of an awful person. He enjoys torturing people for fun.
I mean that's
But
kind of what Asmodeus does
I
in the
know,
actual lore.
but
It's kind of his gimmick.
he's actually like really sweet about his husband, but also in a stabby way. So they're investigating a murder, and there's like this very subtle like building sexual tension between them throughout the story as they're like dealing with blood and violence and everything.
I mean, why not?
But I picked this up because I think it was actually like pitched in somebody's review as like a dark romantic mystery or something, and I would say that it's less romance and more fantasy mystery or whatever, but it is definitely got some sexual tension in it. I'm reading the next one very soon.
There's more than one?
Mm-hmm. The second one just came out, so
Okay.
I
I have not heard that this is a thing.
I don't know. I think, they're more self-published novellas, not like traditionally published by de Bodard. So maybe that's why. And it's not the Shuya universe either. So, but yeah, for some reason, it's the same characters. It's the same world. It's just more like bite-sized mystery adventures instead. And that's working so much better for me. And yeah, I also really like it that Asmodeus he's actually bad. He's not a good guy. So it means that whenever there's like, he's like threatening people in the story, you actually believe it.
Okay.
That's the thing I'm
Okay.
guessing about right now.
Do you have to read the House of Okay, good.
I
Good.
think
Because
think
I don't want to.
some of the layers of political intrigue might mean a bit more if you've read the trilogy of novels, but I didn't actually realize that this series was set in that same world until after I started reading it, and it made sense to me, and then I was reminded like, oh, these character names seem kind of familiar, and then I realized it was in that same world.
Okay.
So yeah, you can jump in and read it if you want.
Okay. I think I might have to try because that sounds fun.
Yes, and the next one is like Leticia said in the chat, it's of Charms, Ghosts, and Grievances. I bought it this morning, so I'm gonna start reading it today.
Why this flew so under the radar for me? Like I have not heard of this.
So I would say like if anybody has read like the Magpie Lords series by KJ Charles, if you read that and really enjoyed it, you would like this series.
Okay. I might have to try. I mean, having said that, I have not read the Magpie series by KJ Charles, like either, but I want to because it seems like something that I would enjoy.
That's
Luke,
not actually my favorite series by KJ Charles. Charles has like the historical romances that are a little bit fluffier, and then she also has the ones that are like violence and sex. And Magpie Lords is kind of violence and sex. So, not my absolute favorite, but still good.
Okay. So, my reading has basically been a whole lot of nothing. I'm reading the, or I'm basically almost finished with the Uncanny Magazine issue 45 that I am reading for the Shorts and Sorcery book club that I host. And it's been actually really nice. I've really liked a lot of the stories. I think that the essays that it has have actually been like the less interesting ones, which is unusual for me because usually I love essays. I love anything to do with analysis. So it was kind of surprising that the essays for me in this iteration have been like the weakest part. I also finished reading the short story nominees for the Hugo Awards today and also immediately made a video, so that should be coming up soon. But like, I actually thought that the category for short stories was pretty strong. Like, there was only a couple of stories where I was like, okay, I don't get it. I don't understand.
That's
why.
the category that Where Oaken Hearts Do Gather is in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my like standout pick for that category.
My standout pick for that, like I did a ranking, so like Oaken Hearts Do Gather is my second favorite, but I actually really liked Jose Pablo Iriarte's Proof by Induction. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
I really love that one. So that is my personal pick. But it was kind of like once I got to like the second and first like favorites, it was kind of like nitpicking of like which of these I'm gonna choose for my actual vote.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have not been reading a ton. I'm hoping to get to the novella and novelette categories next in the Hugos, but basically I have not been reading a ton except for, once again, webtoons, because I have the apps on my cell phone and therefore I can read them when I'm commuting and stuff. So I found actually a new webtoon that is actually pretty good. It's called Coffin Jackson, and it's kind of like it's a kind of like a noir heist mystery. It's about this mortician who works for the mob basically, and he's basically their body disposal expert. And then he gets kind of shafted by them. They fire him and he gets pissed. So
But he literally knows where the bodies are buried.
Yeah, so he gets pissed and starts to work for this rival gang.
Oh, God.
And everything like devolves into this utter chaos after that. And it is drawn so well. It kind of like has this kind of manga-esque style, but it's so realistic, and it kind of has this watercolor like drawing style. It looks so deliciously good. And also every single person in that story is like middle-aged, and they are all illegally hot. it's like you just look at these middle-aged guys and you're like, oh my god, you're so beautiful. So yeah, I've been reading that. So Coffin Jackson, it's the name of the webtoon. Would recommend so far. I mean, I've only read because I'm not fast passing it because I'm trying to save money. So I'm trying not to like put money on the webtoons right now. But it's basically, I think 5 or 4 chapters are out, and it comes like out weekly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good so far. Obviously, it's just in the early stages of the story, so anything could happen. But for now, I'm like really liking it.
Oh, I did finish another of the Rose of Versailles omnibuses, Rhea. Oh my god. That
It's so melodramatic, isn't
oh
it?
my god, I was just gonna say. It is, I mean, it's shoujo manga. It's incredibly highly romanticized.
And
And
also it's from the 70s, so
oh,
it's even
oh,
more like out there in terms of like it Rose of Versailles is a lot,
it
but in a
is.
good way.
Nobody has normal level emotions. Like if you feel anything, it's like you're on top of the world and glowing and there are sparkles in your eyes, or you are depressed and your heart is breaking and it's like, oh, on the ups and the downs.
It's great. I honestly, it's one of my favorite mangas of all time. So I'm really happy that people are now finding it because it's like licensed.
Is this the first time that it's being translated into English, or is it just like a reissue, like a
So
special
it's
collection?
so okay. So what happened was there's a story here. Um, the Rose of Versailles has been translated from like outside Japan. It's been translated to French
Mm-hmm.
and to German, the whole series. And in English, there was this one guy who did like a project that he was gonna teach people Japanese by translating the story, and he translated like I think 3 volumes of Rose of Versailles for this purpose for the purpose of like teaching people in the US Japanese. And then he just kind of didn't finish ever because nobody was kind of interested at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't pick up steam. So it basically like the series basically was in a licensing hell where nobody could touch it because someone else already owned
Oh.
the rights to it. And now this translation by Udon Publishing is the first official like full-on publication for a larger audience that the series has ever had in English.
I kind of wonder about some of the translation choices and what it was like in Japanese, because there's some ways that the characters speak that seems odd to me. Like they try to include some French in some of the sentences, but in a really odd way. Like one of the characters, like she always refers to herself as moi, I. Like she doesn't just say moi or I. She's always saying and moi, I, Rosalie, or whatever. And I'm like, why are you doing 2 pronouns? Why does this one character say moi?
So in Japan there's like various different ways of like like speaking patterns. For example, there's like several different amounts of politeness, and like different variations on keigo, which is like the polite way of speaking. And then there's also like these affectations on how to appear more cute and stuff. So from what I understand, it's like there's a couple of characters in Rose of Versailles that have that sort of cute affectation.
Rosalie is the number one. Yeah, that would explain why she speaks like that then. I didn't realize it affected like the way that you would speak about yourself.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, there's like many different pronouns to use for yourself and like for others as well.
Interesting.
Like you have the like there's many different, and also there's like the time as well, because like there's the like it's probably a little bit old fashioned as well, considering that it was written in the 70s. So it's probably not the same type of Japanese that you hear like nowadays. It's like a little bit like some speaking conventions have changed and stuff. So I would assume, at least from what because I watched the entire anime of Rose of Versailles in Japanese. So at least in that there's this very specific type of way that a lot of the characters speak in.
Interesting. Well, I'm enjoying it, and hopefully I'll be able to get the rest of the omnibuses from Interlibrary Loan.
I mean, I still haven't bought all of them. I have like what four omnibus volumes, and I need to buy the rest, but they're so expensive. So
Is the fifth like a continuation of the series, or is it like stories within or something? For some reason, I didn't think that it was like that. I thought that the main story ended in volume 4.
The last one, from what I understand, is kind of like all the side material and
Okay.
side stories that were published kind of in the side.
Yeah. To be honest, I might skip that one because I'm not super interested in the side stories and pretty much any manga.
And meanwhile, I'm salty that the Full Metal editions of the Full Metal Alchemist completely acts like the 4 comic strips that Hiromu Arakawa had at the end of each volume, and I am going to buy the like separately published volume of all of the 4 things, because you need to have it if you want to have the Full Metal Alchemist experience. You can't go on without the full mangas.
I usually find like the bonus stories in manga, I don't really care about them. They're often like these little skits or sketches or something, and I don't get them.
I mean, it's understandable because I feel like a lot of like US comics, for example, don't do them.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the ones in like Fruits Basket back in the day. Like even when I was a teenager, I was reading them and being like, I think this is supposed to be cute, but it's like 4 panels. You can't really do anything with that.
Oh boy, I hate drawing the grids for calendars. I don't like it. So what has everybody been watching?
I haven't really been watching anything except for women's soccer recently.
I mean, that's something.
Yeah, it's right now it's World Cup qualifying for CONCACAF, which is the federation that it's like North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. So the final is tomorrow, and it's US Canada. And then third place is Jamaica and Costa Rica, which should be interesting. Because right now, the way it is, all 4 of those teams have qualified for the World Cup, but now they're trying to figure out who's getting the Olympic qualifier. So whoever wins the US-Canada game is qualified for the Olympics, and then the loser of the final and then the third place team have a playoff game to see who's qualifying for Paris.
Wait, what? I don't understand the Olympic qualifier thing. Like, only one team qualifies? What?
So the Olympics is a much smaller tournament than the World Cup. So this year the World Cup is 32 teams.
Okay.
Yeah, 32 teams. Whereas the Olympics is only 12 teams. So instead of, like, for example, instead of being able to send 4 teams or potentially at least 4 teams to the World Cup, CONCACAF can only send 2 teams. And so traditionally what they've done is they've had like a World Cup qualifying tournament, but I guess they decided what they're going to do is whoever wins this tournament gets one of those qualification spots, and then the second place team and the third place team have to play each other to find out who gets the second spot.
Okay.
But that's not going to be till like next year.
Huh.
Okay. Sports is weird. There's so many rules.
CONCACAF in particular does the weirdest shit. So it's also just a weird way of going about it. For example, what the European Federation does is it's based on placement in the World Cup. So, like, for example, last World Cup, it was Netherlands, Sweden, England. So those three went to the Olympics. Just because like Netherlands was second place, Sweden was third place, England was fourth place.
Okay.
So
they don't have to do any they just basically do it based on the ranking.
They do it based on World Cup finishing.
Okay. Well, I don't ever have to worry about Finland making it to the Olympics because we suck at soccer. And basically all the rest of the ball sports outside of hockey.
Yeah, so it will, because I want Canada to win because I want them to qualify and I want them to beat the US, but I'm worried that because Canada beat them in the Olympics, the US is going to be like out for blood. But also the US has been kind of not great the last couple of years, so we'll see what happens.
This is still about
soccer. Yeah.
I thought the US soccer team was like doing great.
At least,
like.
So the thing is with the US is they're very talented, and a lot of times they can kind of just blunt force their way into a win. But they haven't always been playing great this tournament, and so it'll just be interesting to see which version of the team shows up. And Canada, the thing is with Canada is like defensively, we're very good. Like we tend to not allow a lot of goals, but we're also not great at scoring goals, which is kind of a problem.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Also, like for example, with the Olympics, like I think we only had one multi-goal game, and everything else it was either it was like a tie, we won 1-0, or we went on with penalty kicks. Like it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Well, I have not been watching soccer, but I have been watching Ms. Marvel.
I finished watching it. I admit I didn't think it looked very good from the trailer, but now it seems to be getting good buzz, so I should try it.
I really liked it. It was like there was a little bit of like a mid-series lull that I wasn't like hugely a fan of, but I just still feel like overall it is such a feel-good series, and it knows its audience, and it doesn't try to cater to I feel like a lot of people like in the pop culture critic pundits tend to mock the series because it is geared towards a specific audience of young adults, and it doesn't really try to cater to any demographic outside of that. It knows its audience, and it knows who it wants to please, and I think that makes it a lot more enjoyable and honest show because it doesn't try to tick all the boxes.
Right.
So I really liked it, and I liked the the actors. There were so many like new fresh faces.
That's kind of why I want to see it as well. I'm really like I love the comic. It's the only Marvel Universe comic I've like read to completion. And I like that it can stand on its own as a TV show then as well, because that's what I liked about the comic is I could kind of read it without knowing what else was going on in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah,
definitely its own thing. Yeah,
they did change Kamala's powers a bit for the TV series, but I think the reason they did that is that it's specifically because of like how her powers are.
Oh, they would have needed so much CGI.
Yeah, and it would have looked really uncanny valley and creepy.
Oh yeah.
So that's the reason why I suspect they changed her powers up a bit. Like the main idea of her powers is still the same. Like she can like still manipulate like parts of her body and like that, but like it's a little bit like different. But yeah, I really liked it. I also watched the new Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and I actually really liked that too. Like I have some qualms. I don't necessarily like what they did with Wanda in that movie. However, as like a movie on its own, I think like it is probably the Sam Raimiest Sam Raimi movie I have ever seen.
I'm gonna be honest, like I'm like a little burned out on Marvel, and part of it is like knowing what happens with Wanda and certain spoilers for Thor: Love and Thunder. Like I'm just very tired of certain things that Marvel is doing with a lot of its female characters, and I do want to watch Miss Marvel, and I still want to watch Moon Knight, but in terms of like the movies, I'm just kind of really tired, and I wish Marvel would kind of stop its everything is all connected, because like I would love a more standalone
Yeah.
thing like we're kind of getting with some of the TV shows.
I mean,
But-
that's what I liked about Moon Knight. Moon Knight wasn't really connected to anything. Like it kind of references the blip. But other than that, it's basically like it isn't connected to any bigger like story, and that's what I actually liked about it. It's that like this is a stress-free story I can just watch without having to pay attention to like a million other things.
Yeah, and so I'm just very tired of like certain choices that Kevin Feige and the Marvel Brain Trust is making, and it's making me not want to like at this point, like with Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm probably just gonna wait for it to be on Disney Plus because I'm just so annoyed with some of the choices that it made.
I'm still waiting for the new Spider-Man to be on Disney Plus because I don't want to go to see movies to see it. Jesus.
I can't remember the last time I actually watched a Marvel movie.
Lucky you. Lucky you.
I think mine was it was either the new Spider-Man, because my mom's took me to see that when I was home for Christmas, or it was Shang-Chi, in which we saw on Disney Plus.
I saw Shang-Chi on Disney Plus, and I don't know, I'm just kind of like there's so many MCU movies that they are kind of starting to bleed together because there's this sort of sameness to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they all follow kind of the similar story beats. All the heroes look kind of the same because there's a certain kind of like design, like core design principle that goes into like transferring all of these characters into the big screen and stuff, and so it all kind of starts to feel very like plasticky and samey.
Yeah, and especially like in terms of the structure, like you're going to be getting the third act fight that's just kind of a mess visually, and then I don't know if you all saw the kind of discourse that was going around Twitter, I think last week, but people were talking about like just how Marvel interacts with its visual effects studio and how it kind of contributes to what we see on the screen in terms of like how messy the visual effects are, because they're like, we want X things in a really short time period, but we also aren't going to be giving you clear directions until right at the very end.
Also, they actually like make the visual effects team prepare kind of like fluff content that they can put specifically to trailers so that they can like kind of misdirect audiences.
Yeah.
Which also like pulls resources from the VFX teams.
Yeah, and then like sometimes like you're talking about Miss Marvel's powers looking cheap. Like I don't know if you've seen the stuff for She-Hulk, but
I have seen.
That looks
I am scared.
The visual effects that they've used for Tatiana Maslany like look so bad. Like it just, especially when you have
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the best thing.
That's the
unfortunately.
I love Tatiana Maslany. I don't think they should have cast someone who is bigger.
I feel like Tatiana Maslany could have pulled it off. I just feel like.
But yeah, no. The visual effects that we've seen so far of her in her Shulky form, they are not good. They're
terrible.
they are bad. And then like they also released a picture of Jamil as the antagonist, and like I don't even know what's going on with that costume. It just looks bad. Like
there's a lot there that Glenn, I couldn't agree more.
What
I
even
want
is
X-Men.
X-Men?
so here's the thing. I want X-Men, but I don't want it in the MCU. I think X-Men works a lot better on its own.
I mean, here's the thing. I really liked parts of the first one with James McAvoy and the what's its name, Mr.
Oh, I love
Rochester.
those. Yeah, I love
But
those.
then they shit the bed with those in the last two, I
It's
think.
because they brought Bryan Singer back, and he wanted to do what he wanted to do with the original cast and make it like the Wolverine show instead of it. Yeah.
I mean, I always liked
Yeah.
Hugh Wolverine as well, but like,
I'm just with those ones. I'm also disappointed because they, like with Days of Future Past, there are certain things I like about it, but they completely shafted Kitty Pryde and Elliot Page, because in the original comics, Kitty's the one who goes back, and instead they just use Kitty as a device to send Wolverine back, and she gets stabbed by him while
Yeah. I mean, I just wish we could have nice things.
I also don't forgive the latest X-Men Apocalypse for making Oscar Isaac look that ugly. Like just on a pure
Wait,
note.
that was Oscar Isaac?
As Apocalypse, yes.
wow.
How? How? Oh my god.
Sorry, I broke your brain a little.
That's the worst thing I've heard in a while. That's like, I did like, what will I do with this cursed knowledge?
It is extremely cursed. I do agree.
Oh my god.
Oh, not
I mean,
at all.
Glenn, I don't think you missed anything if you didn't finish it.
I saw it in theaters, and while I don't have the same level of what the hell did I just spend my money on as I did with Blade Runner 2049. It's like close. Not related.
How
Rachel, did you see that Bane's releasing another Penric bind up in November?
Yes. I actually just got my Subterranean Press hardcover edition of The Assassins of Thassalon. It is a chunker. It is an actual novel. They're so pretty.
I would love to try and track down the Subterranean Press versions, but like they're probably going to be so expensive since all of them are out of print.
You know, the last couple that have come out have been super exclusive. They've been only doing like they often have like 2 tiers, and one is like $45 and one is like $35, or they really changed it recently. They bumped up the prices, and now they're only offering the more expensive ones, and usually like 1,500 copies, if that. So
yeah, and I know I don't know if they're doing, because yeah, I got on it too late, and now I'm just like, I don't want an incomplete collection.
yeah,
I was trying to look for the Penric and Desdemona things on ebook, and of course, in the usual Subterranean Press manner and like small publisher manner, not in Finland, you little shit. You don't get anything.
So
they're self-published.
Yeah, they're self-published.
Yeah.
So I mean, they just Bujold just super recently released them on Kobo. Like for a while, it was like Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and iBooks.
Mm-hmm.
Or Apple, but whatever Apple's calling.
Yeah, here's the thing. I have a Kobo and I can't get them on Kobo because I'm in Finland. if I was in the US, I could get them.
I don't
There's
know.
like a region lock limitation.
I don't
Because-
know why she hasn't published them more like outside of the US market. I know that there were issues with the rights in the UK for like the Vorkosigan novels, and then when she finally had the rights, she went around to publish them as ebooks, and they were more successful then. But it kind of surprises me that as self-published works, they're not in other markets, unless
Yeah.
it's just sort of a limitation of like what she can do on her own. Though she goes through like, what is it called, the Spectrum Literary Agency to publish them. So she's not doing it all on her own. I don't know. And yes, at least the Subterranean press releases are very stressful. Like, especially if you're trying to get a super exclusive one. I have given up. I have given up.
Yeah, same. I mean,
The only
the
reason
one novella by Arkady Martin that's coming out is also a Subterranean Press exclusive, from what I understand, and I am slightly embittered about this.
it's not even up for pre-order yet, is it? I keep checking and there's no more information about it other than it's coming out at some point.
I think like one of her books was in for pre-order because there was also like it was
Made me give up. A Memory Called Empire came out, and like they had how many thousand copies of it, and I kid you not, they sold out in about 3 seconds.
I know they were also like Victor Nye was the illustrator.
I know, I wanted it.
I
so
wanted
bad.
it.
I took time out from work. I set a timer. I was there. I had one in my cart. It wouldn't let me check out. Like, they sold out so fast that
It's like trying to get tickets to a Rammstein concert. The traumatic experiences that I've had.
I was so unhappy. I thought that they would like release them like in staggered batches to like make it at least a little bit more fair, but they did not. It was just like, bam, they are gone. And that was the point where I gave up.
Yeah. So one thing they're doing it with an author I've bought Subterranean Press stuff from before, and I'm not going to say too much about it because they're like, this is super secret email. But one thing they did do with this author is if you had bought like the last novella they had released from Subterranean Press, they gave you like an exclusive pre-order.
And that's why I think they disappear so fast. Yeah, that's why I get the Bujold one so regularly, is because I got in early on the very, very first one before it was big. And so I pre-order. I get the pre-order option a couple of weeks before most.
Yeah, so I actually
unfair.
I need to submit my pre-order for this one because at this point there's only one of the ones they've released from Subterranean Press that I don't own, which should tell you who it is. But
I mean, what about the rest of us plebs who don't have secret pre-order links?
It is worth it to be on Subterranean Press's mailing list. And if you do manage to purchase anything from them, they are really good about giving people that secret heads up on stuff. And it's not always like mostly it's like, oh, you bought something else by this author, you get first, dibs on the next thing. But sometimes it's just a matter of being on the mailing list and having purchased something before. But I mean, I can't complain too much though. They are like exclusive collector's editions.
Yeah.
They are, if they were printing 1 million of them and giving everybody what they wanted, they wouldn't be exclusive collector's editions anymore.
I mean, I guess.
But yeah, I was bitter about A Memory Called Empire because it was like not even an attempt at fairness. They were just gone. So
I just personally get like the slightly like annoyed when it's like it's one thing to have like collector's editions, but it's a whole nother matter when the thing is almost like it's only published by Subterranean Press. So that's like it's not even a collector's edition in that moment, like because or rather I feel like if it was a collector's edition of a thing that I could get, like a regular pleb edition, I wouldn't be so salty about it. But when it's like this is the thing, only we publish this and you're not gonna get it, it annoys me as a completionist, especially for like if I would want like an author's work, or like want to support the author and I can't get all of their work because there's a paywall and a limited edition wall.
The one of the nice things though about Subterranean Press is that they usually just have rights to a specific edition, and so it doesn't preclude somebody else picking it up in a different format, in ebook, in a different market, that sort of thing.
Well, that's at least something.
Like Aliette de Bodard's stuff that has come out through them has been available like 6 months or a year later in ebook or something, and yeah. Oh yeah, at least I saw the Kickstarter, the new Kickstarter for Digger. Very exciting. I got in on the first Kickstarter to do the big print version. Oh my gosh, almost a decade ago. That was really fun. So, but the new Digger, I mean, they're bringing it back into print, but it is like sort of the kickoff project for that new press, right? I haven't looked that much into it aside from knowing about it because it's Digger, but
I am trying to learn how to count, and it's hard.
It is hard. I'd say this as I messed up my pattern and have to
Let's see. I'm finally looking at the Hugo voter packet. Let's see here.
I still technically need to buy my ticket for like my entry ticket to Worldcon.
Oh no, they have Project Hail Mary, but it's
on PDF.
It's a PDF with watermarks on every single page.
Yep.
Gosh dang it.
Yep.
I have it checked out from the library right now just because I didn't know.
I can't get it from the library.
And also, the audiobook is an Audible exclusive.
I was going to say, like, could you do like a free trial of Audible and just like get the audiobook?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm trying not to give Amazon more money, but
no, but you just do the free trial.
I know I could. I looked recently at my hold for the ebook from the big library that's got like 30 copies of it, and I'm still like number 50 on the list.
I'm like a little worried about, because like I enjoyed The Martian, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. And I've heard such mixed things about Project Hail Mary. Like I've heard some people are like, it's fine. Some people are like, this is, you know, much better than Artemis, and other people being like, what the hell did I just read?
The only I am trying to read it for the awards is because I have heard it's better than Artemis. I feel I should give it a fair shot.
I'm also only trying to read it for the awards, but I'm also scared because I have this very specific pet peeve regarding linguistics in any type of fiction. Like whenever someone tries to write about like language learning and stuff, like because that's something that I'm really interested in, also as a polyglot and stuff, it rubs me so many kinds of wrong ways when someone does it and does it poorly. And I have heard multiple people say that Andy Weir does not handle the linguistics aspect of the book particularly well, and I am scared.
Did you see Bethany's review of Beautifully Bookish Bethany?
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually did like comment on her video, like, oh,
Should I go watch that now?
It's an interesting. There's interesting things that she brings up. that are kind of red flags for me in terms of like picking up the book.
I'm trying to
Like-
trust in the nominators that there's a reason why it's on the
Yeah.
Hugo.
Okay,
I
so
mean-
I try and trust the nomineers, but then we also got a Spindled Splinter nominated.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I have not
No,
read it yet, so
I gotta be honest, like I feel like the entire novella category this year is extremely ho-hum, except for the two that I'd already read. And I'm like, is it just me? Do I just not like what other people liked from last year? Or was it just,
So I think part of my problem is that Tor, like for the most part, Tor like has a very specific thing that they've published, and since the category has been dominated by Tor for so long,
here's hoping Neon Hemlock does something like that gets on the ballot next year.
well, what I'm actually
I have
hoping
hope.
for, so Saga's publishing a novella from Rebecca Roanhorse in November. So I think if any novella published this year has a chance of breaking that Tor stranglehold, it's going to be that one.
Yeah. I definitely want to check out some things from Neon Hemlock that they're publishing.
Yeah, I do want to check out some stuff from that.
I bought a couple of their back catalog things just to give them a try. So
Yeah, Bridget from SF Blue Stocking really likes Neon Hemlock and is always talking them up.
I had a hard time figuring out PHM, and then I realized Project Hail Mary. I'm very happy you enjoyed it, Elise. I'm going in with lowered expectations, and hope that I will be pleasantly surprised.
what I hope is that it's just like a fun read, because I need more of that in my life. Like if it is just, fluffy sci-fi fun, high octane, fun ride, that's cool. I just want to enjoy it.
Why are all my pens?
Yeah, I think right now I'm going to try and finish Master of Jin and then Project Hail Mary, just because I don't know when I need to turn that in, and so I might as well just finish it as soon as I can. But I don't know. I also have some nonfiction books that are going to be due at the beginning of August that I need to read.
Yeah,
I can't renew them anymore.
same.
I really want to do the release-a-thon.
Yeah, I'm
in
planning.
August, which
Yeah,
means I won't really be reading anything from last year. I want to read the 2022 stuff. So
yeah, I want to do new release-a-thon, and also I'm wondering. I think Magical Readathon is also happening in August. Trying to pair the two.
I can't do this many. I'm also like I'm so nervous about new release-a-thon because as a host I need to be active, but also like all of my books will be in boxes in August, so it's like gonna be just me and my e-reader and hoping for the best.
I believe.
hey, if you even just read one thing, then you succeed.
Exactly. That's my plan.
Yeah.
That is my plan. Read the one thing. I have two of the Neon Hemlock novellas that have come out this year, so I'm thinking I'm gonna read those. But yeah, it's like I don't even have bookshelves, so I need to like save money and buy those as well. It's like it's a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't read She Who Became the Sun yet. I've heard good things about it. I'm dragging my heels on reading it because I fear that it's kind of like battle fantasy. that's not the term, but it's war and stuff like that, and I really don't want to read that right now.
Yeah, my problem is that there are also a couple of the best novel ones that are in series. So like I still haven't read A Memory Called Empire, so I'd need to read that, and then Desolation Called Peace, and then also I've only read one of the Wayfarers books, so I'm just like, do I need to read the others?
Yeah.
That's kind of part of
for this last one, you wouldn't have to read any other Wayfarers book except the very first one.
I've read the first one.
Yeah. Because this one only references one character, and that's from the first. Like, if you've read the first book, you basically know everything that you need to know to get into it.
Yeah, I will say the one thing I am praying to every deity out there that friggin' The Last Graduate doesn't win the Lodestar.
I am voting no award on Last Graduate.
I'm
Oh, yeah,
not,
no,
I'm not going to be able to read all the nominees, but A Snake Falls to Earth definitely has my vote.
Yeah,
Sure.
I need to finish the nominees, but like, no, I'm gonna do what I did last year and do no award before the Novik one. I'm just anyway, still bitter, still mad about it.
Yeah. Novik also hasn't really addressed any of like I'm just I don't know if she's like very active on social media anyway, but she's not really addressed the situation in any way, which kind of also frustrates me to no end, because it's kind of like there's an obvious criticism and you're not saying anything.
I don't think she's active on social media. But
I mean, good for her. Sometimes I wish I wasn't as active. It would save me a lot of grief. I think with She Who Became the Sun, there's also like it's kind of like an alternative history as well.
Mhm.
yeah,
So it's like it's kind of sometimes miscategorized as fantasy, where I think it probably would fall into like isn't alternative history usually like science fiction category? Like if you think about like
yeah, alternate timelines usually are a bit more
yeah.
sci-fi. So I think that for me, it just seems so similar to what I knew about the Poppy War before I read the Poppy War, and that is a book that I wish I could scrub from my brain because I still find some things in it deeply upsetting. I mean, it wasn't a bad book. I mean, just like some of the content, the subject matter in it and stuff, just
I mean, there's a very specific historical event that it references.
I know, and it's not fun to have that in my head
And
sometimes.
that is also precisely the reason why I have avoided reading it all these years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know what the thing is, and unfortunately, I have watched way too many documentaries and read way too many nonfiction books around the
Then you know.
topic that
Then
I
you
do
know.
not actually want to relive it in fiction.
Yeah. So.
And it was actually kind of interesting because, like, I don't know, like, it's not something that is taught in over here or in the northern Europe in schools either. It's just that my family is very history nuts in many ways, especially around World War II. So I've had like different kinds of war documentaries ingested in my brain since like a little kid. But I will say that I was, and this is just from my own like very weirdly niche experience, but I was so surprised when people were saying when Poppy War came out that they had not heard of the Rape of Nanking. And I was like, this is
I
not
heard
a
of it,
thing. This is not a thing people know about.
never taught in schools here as far as I know. Yeah.
Hello. Also, it is 18 past 10. So, what are some things that you are excited about? They can be events, they can be books, they can be movies, things.
I got my copy of A Prayer for the Crown Shy. Yeah.
Yeah, I got mine too.
I'm like, am I gonna wait for release-a-thon or am I just
I'm trying to relate to. I'm trying to wait. I'm trying to be good.
I mean, you don't have to wait until like the 1st of August. So
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, I know it's like in 2 weeks. So
I should reread the first one because I think I'm gonna love rereading the first one and then get to the sequel later. So we'll see.
I mean, I am very excited for the Oleander Sword, even though I have not read the Jasmine Throne.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Sylvia Moreno Garcia, which is coming out on Tuesday.
Is it?
Oh, the Moreau?
Yeah, the daughter of
That
Dr.
one's
Moreau.
Yeah.
Um,
Usually I would pre-order her stuff, but I actually really hate The Island of Dr. Moreau. Like, that is the one H.G. Wells story I've hated so much. So I'm gonna get that one from the library, but I am excited.
I did pre-order that.
Isn't that book kind of like the original by H.G. Wells, kind of about eugenics?
Yes.
Yes, and it's live vivisection of animals to surgically turn them into people. And then all the ethics around that. I
mean,
book.
I mean, what are the ethics around that except that seems bad?
Non-consent, bad science.
But like, is it something that the author addresses, or is it just something?
No.
So it just so the book just has questionable ethics and doesn't actually address the things. Now I get it. I haven't read it, you see.
Yeah, I would not recommend it. I that book squicked me out. I was not expecting to be so disturbed and then very upset about just like everything. But what that means is that it's like really good fodder for a Sylvia Moreno Garcia novel, because you know she's going to address some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
I'm excited for that. And then I have some stuff I'm looking forward to in August that I'm looking for. There's some stuff in August. Name the last Kit Roca Mercenaries Librarian book is coming out on the 16th of August. And that one, like, I just like it. It's, it's set in kind of a future dystopia, but it's very hopeful, and I like the romances and the relation. The thing that I like with romances is when it doesn't just focus on the main romantic relationship. Like, you get to see the romantic leads' relationships with other people. And like the Mercenary Librarians one does that so well.
That's good.
So
yeah,
I really recommend them. They're community organizing, fantastical 3D printing.
I should try those books. I really should. I tried to read, what was the Kit Roca romance series that got really big before that?
The Beyond series?
Yes.
Yeah, so the Beyond series is like similar things. It's more erotica, whereas this one is more like science fantasy romance.
Yeah. I tried to read the first Beyond book many years ago, before I started reading romance regularly at all. So I was like, I did not know what I was getting into. Yeah.
But yeah, I think you might really like them.
It seems to me like something I would probably enjoy now. Like, my tastes have shifted enough that I would give that a shot.
Yeah, just like be aware it does take place in like future dystopia, but it's all about like building community and finding hope within that, and like making the world a better place instead of like really leaning into everything is dark and gritty.
I don't know why, but this comment by Becca tickled me. Not anything for science, though. Not anything. Wait, is the Alexandra Rowland bodyguard fantasy romance The Taste of Iron and Gold? I thought that already came out.
No, it got delayed.
Great, because I haven't read it and I want to. So
I've never heard of this. I looked this up.
I've heard
look at the original cover. Like, it has now gotten some like. Once again, I was looking at like the different covers, and the original, like the US cover for it, looks absolutely delicious, and then the UK cover is once again a stock image, like weird like wrought iron things. And the US cover is like a beautiful illustrated cover with an like
the one with people on the cover. The one with people on the cover is the good one.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I think I might read that based just on that cover.
Yeah. I mean, look at it. It's with a fitted embroidered
I was
jacket.
gonna say, I like their like overcoats a lot. I hope it has good fashion.
Yeah. I mean, I just looked at that cover and I was like, sold. And then I saw the UK cover and I was like, no. I if I like
Well,
I feel like if I feel like if I have to, because I noticed that my library isn't getting it. So I'm thinking I might have to buy it either on ebook or physically, and I swear if I have to buy it, I am doing all I can to find a copy that has the US cover. Like, Di, when does it come out? Do you know? Like, is it coming out like in
I think-
August?
end of August.
Yeah.
So there's a chance I might be able to buy it in Chicago.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good to know.
Yeah, I had no idea about this, and now I really want to read it just based on the cover.
Yeah, like the cover just looks really nice and it sounds really interesting.
I mean, I have the debut by Alexander Rowland, A Conspiracy of Truths, that I really, really, really want to read. I know Kelsey loves it,
Mm-hmm.
and I have never read it. I've had it since it got released, and there's a sequel and everything, and and there's going to be, I think, novellas in that same world, and I'm like, I never read it. Like, why am I like this?
Too many books, not enough time.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
it's literally like, well, okay, this is the first move. This is the first move that it's gonna move with me. So it's not that bad. If it had like moved with me like 3 separate occasions, then I would be a little worried. Because there are some books that have moved a lot and I have not gotten to them yet. So we shall not talk about that. I am confused. Why is there 31 days in both July and August?
Are there? I don't know.
There are. I don't understand why. July says 31, August says 31. How? When did this happen? I thought it was 31 and 30 and 31 and 30. And
No, they're
suddenly,
not even. It would be easier to remember if they just switched back and forth.
Also, I have to show you this cool sticker.
Aha. What is the washi tape that you had on the cover of the month? That was really cool. Like the blue or whatever, the blue silver. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is by the artist Sonja Stegemann. So she does this is a sticker sheet by her.
Huh.
So I basically I'm taking a break, but I usually follow her on Patreon. And usually if you follow her on Patreon on a certain tier, you will get these sticker sheets and you will get washi tape and you will get all of these things. And it's great. But basically now that I'm moving, I'm like I canceled all of my subscription services like Scribd, Audible, Disney Plus, everything. And I noticed that I'm saving around like 60 euros a month.
It adds up.
By canceling them, and I was like, oh my god, this is a lot. So I'm trying to do like a stack, like when I'm going like back to subscribing to some of them, I'm going to try and do it staggered. So that I'm only subscribing to like one of them a month or something.
Yeah.
Ugh. I drank tea into the wrong windpipe.
I'm sorry.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
Oh, another book that I'm looking forward to coming out in the next couple of weeks is the new she's published under L. Penelope, but this one's being published under Leslie Penelope. It's, oh God, I'm completely blanking on the title, but it's basically historical fantasy set in like 1920s, 1930 Washington, D.C., and it's a heist novel. It is, where is it? The Monsters We Defy.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's set in 1925 DC, and it's about a woman who can talk to spirits, and she owes a debt, and so she has to do a heist from the wealthiest woman in the district. So yeah, it sounds really interesting, and I've been looking for, I want more historical fantasy that's not like Victorian historical fantasy.
Or Regency.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Regency, okay?
I
for
do too.
example,
I do too.
I really like The Midnight Bargain by C.L. Polk. I really liked it. It's been one of my favorite books I've read this year. And that definitely was like heavily Regency inspired.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that one I'm really looking forward to. Just, I like Penelope's writing, and this one just sounds really interesting.
All right. I think we should probably start wrapping it up. What's coming up on everyone's channel in the near future?
I need to finally edit and post my June wrap up, and then post a backlog of videos that I've recorded but just haven't edited or posted.
Yeah, I need to film my June wrap up. It's going to be a doozy. I've been putting it off. So yeah,
I
more
mean,
wrap-ups.
wrap up. I mean, I might, like, I'm thinking that next year probably I'm going back to my original wrap up style of doing like edited videos and stuff. But like this year, I have been really enjoying doing them like as a live show format because it's just been so hectic a year for me.
Mhm.
So it's like super easy to just like plonk on a camera and do it live. So that's been kind of a lifesaver for my content in general this year, because I haven't been able to like keep up with like the regular schedule.
Yeah.
However, I did film 2 videos today, which should be coming this later this week. So I should have like new releases recommendation video, and I should have a ranking of the short story nominees for Hugo Awards. So those are coming.
I should do a release-a-thon TBR.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The one thing I'm trying to wait and see when the Magical Readathon prompts are coming out, because
I have not heard that I did not even realize that it might be happening this.
I think it's in August and not September. Like, I could be misremembering.
I mean, it usually was in August, but I'm not sure if it's like if the Aurelium thing is gonna continue the tradition.
I think it is. Like, on the Twitter, like a couple of days ago, she tweeted hi. So I think that means it's like reactivating.
Okay.
But yeah, I know I want to try and read Prayer for the Crown Shy. And then there's some other stuff that I want to read for the release-a-thon.
I just like I know I'm a broken record when it comes to this move, but I'm just like I just want the move to be over. Like it will be so pleasant when I'm just like don't have to worry about packing or anything and it's just done.
It'll happen. You'll get there.
Also, how the hell does making bullet journal spreads take this long. I still have one spread to do, and it's been 1.5 hours. But anyway, this has basically been it for this month's Stitch and Bitch. I was gonna say year Stitch and Bitch, and I was like, wait. Okay, so thank you all for coming. Thank you all for engaging with us and hanging out with us this fine Sunday night, because it is almost 11 p.m. where I am. So it is time to tuck in. So I hope we will see you next time, and take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.